What's up, everyone? As y'all can tell by the title of the video, I'm going to be telling y'all all my jobs and exactly how much I've been paid for each of them. Let's get started. So boom, everybody's first jobs is always working for their parents, doing something that they have no business doing. Back in the day, my mom used to have all types of jobs in small businesses to make sure we got fed. And one of the very first ones that I can remember is us making peanut butter. Somebody would bring over sack loads of peanuts. It was me and my brother's job to break open the shells and push the peanuts aside. And then she mashed them together, put oil, sugar, spices, and they come out real good. We was up all night eating samples of the peanut butter, but by the time that sun came up, let me tell you, our stomachs was rumbling. We ate an unnatural amount of peanut butter. I don't know what the child labor laws are like in Haiti, but she was having us do this for free. She could have at least let us like $2-3. So overall, for my first job, I say I got paid 10 scoops of peanut butter per hour. To continue on the theme, she also had this stand where she sold fruits called Kenep. Now I don't know what y'all call them in America, but I'm gonna pop a picture right here. They're clumped together like grapes. You could pop 2 or 3, and then next thing you know, you're done with the whole vine. That's how addicting they were. We were out in the sun holding down the stand, selling a couple batches here and there whenever she'd walk away, and it was fun. Once again, we got paid in free food. Some money would have been nice, but that's my mama, so I ain't gonna complain too much. Now, we about to step it up a little. We got a big boy job. So before I came to America, we had to move to the capital to live with our aunt. And her house was pretty cool. She had a big cockfighting ring in the middle of the yard as soon as you walked in through the gate. And every Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember which one, she hosts these cockfighting events. They will serve food, fried chicken, fish, rice, and beans. They have, I kid you not, 20-30 people circled around betting on the fight. And my job was to keep an eye over the plantains and the rest of the food to make sure nothing burns whenever my aunt walks away, whenever my cousin walks away. After the cockfights, they let me get something to eat. And I'm souping up feathers, making sure that the pit is clean, ready for next week's tournament. Now, for a 7-year-old kid, that was a pretty good job. I get to see some entertainment, I get food, and I get paid. She gave me $5. $5 a day, not $5 an hour now. But for a kid like me, that was more than enough to keep me satisfied. They already fed me. I got everything I need, so the rest of the money I could just blow away on snacks. Job number 4. By this time, I had moved to America. I learned language, and I'm just trying to figure out who I want to be, you know? Then I started watching sports, and I'm seeing Russell Westbrook throw down crazy dunks. Kyrie shifting folks out their socks, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do that. But there's a big problem. My dad wouldn't let me go nowhere, and in his eyes, he's treating America like it's more dangerous than Haiti. But you know how all these foreign parents are, man. They watch too much news on Facebook. I wasn't allowed to go outside. So the only way that I could play basketball is if I bought my own hoop. And at the time, I have no money. So what I do? I started waiting until my mom sent me a little $20. And I walked to a corner store, bought some snacks, and then I resold them at school. Everybody loved the white Reese's, the sweet tarts, the Takis. We was making a killing. And then in 2-3 months, I had afforded enough money so I could buy my own hoop. But there was too much heat coming down the operation, so I had to shut things down. Overall, in the course of a couple months, I made over $250. For a 6th grader, that's real money. That's real cheese. I bought my basketball court, and I was happily ever after. All right, now we step into the realm of a 9 to 5. Now, at this point, I'm in high school. My dad's always working, so he don't have time to drive me or take me in no places. And I won't go out, you know, have a little fun, do after school activities and things like that. But you know, these clubs cost money and I don't have no transportation, so I need Uber. And at this point in time, my brother was working at Chipotle. So right on my 16th birthday, when I qualified to be employed by them, I went to that interview, got me a job. I got my little shirt, got my little hat, and I was on the schedule just like that. Now, Chipotle was so much fun. I made so much friends, man. I was always snacking on little steak cups. I was having it all. I was having my way, man. And since I'm about my money, I was going to work right after school and volunteering to stay until 1 a.m. to wash up all the dishes. Everybody else was complaining, but I need that. And on Saturdays when I don't have school, I come in at like 10 a.m., help them open. I might not leave till like 8 or 9 p.m. depending on if I had plans or not. Like I was always willing to take out the trash, willing to do dishes. And I low-key had the best customer service. I was putting good sized portions on the people's bowls so they tip nice. So it was win-win for everybody. But eventually, you know, some things happened and me and my brother had to take a day off. And for some reason, out of everybody, they decided to make an example of us. Me, I didn't understand that at all because I'm here every day. I'm here working overtime as a 16-year-old, mind you. That shit is not legal, but you know, I didn't mind. I was the one telling them that I can work. But we called out one day and they were like, come in or you're off my schedule. And I'm like, all right, bet. Like, I'm a hard worker. And anybody could tell that off the first interview. So it won't take me nothing but 2-3 days to find a job. At Chipotle, we were getting paid $12.75, I believe. It helped me stack up a little bit of money. And that was good enough to pay for my Ubers back and forth from school and doing our activities. It bought my clothes, put food on the table, and I was satisfied. I also had a little money tucked off to the side so I could eventually buy a car. But even so, I was going through a lot of stress. I was figuring some things out, so I decided to take a break from work for a little bit. Not even a week later, my homeboy Max hits me up. And he's like, yo, you want to come work at my job this Saturday? We need bus boys. It gets really busy and we're low on staff. And I'm like, man, I don't want to do that. I just stopped working at Chipotle. You know, I want to chill for a little bit and figure some things out. But after talking and talking, he eventually convinces me to work for one day. I come through through, he tells me wear non-slip shoes. I meet the owners, everybody's super nice, and I'm wiping down the tables, taking out the plates, and setting everything back up for the next set of customers. Day ends and they pay me a clip of cash. It was probably like $121 or something like that. And I'm talking to the boss or whatever, and then he's like, yeah, so boom, what's your schedule looking like? Can you work Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, right? Because those are our most busy days. We're really gonna need you, man. What do you mean need me? This is a one-day gig. I'm helping y'all out, doing my friend a solid. Whole time this man's offering me a entire job, telling me how much money I can make. He's gassing it up, and I'm like, bruh. But then I look at my bank account. I done spent so much money on Ubers without making any back from working that I'm realizing I can't keep this up for long. And the clip of money looks good. I'm looking at the boss, and I'm like, yeah, man, the weekends are terrific. I'll come through. He sets me up with everything I need, tells me to bring in my social security and all that, and I'm working like 5 days a week. Now, I knew I'm complaining about how I acquired the job, but I had so much fun over there. I was working with my friend, and he worked like 1 day a week. So whenever I see him, we chop it up. Everybody at the restaurant treated me like family. I was getting food, getting paid, and that's all I ever needed. Overall, I'd average like 130 a day. I'd work like 9 hours. It would fluctuate depending on how busy we are. So that was a step up from Chipotle. Now I'm making $14.40 an hour realistically, and it was an easier job in my opinion. I just clean tables and set them back up. Plus, everybody treated me like family. It was a welcoming environment. And I don't care what you say, you can't put a price on that. But eventually, after working there for a little while longer, they realized how I talked to the people and how nice I was. So they decided they were going to step me up and teach me how to be a server. Now, I was a little nervous. I'm like, damn, what if I get these people's orders wrong? What if I do this? What if I do that? There was this lady, Miss Patty, she was teaching me. And she talked so fast, but like, she'll always ask you, are you okay? You okay? You good? You understand? And then she makes sure that I get everything word for word. Now I follow along with her and listen to the other servers, run around the kitchen, run around dining room, and I was picking up everything really fast. Like when somebody sits down and explains something to me, I'm a quick learner. Matter of fact, let me give y'all a quick expression of what you'd witness if I was your server. Hello everyone. Welcome to Wasabi. My name is Steve. I'll be your server today. Is everyone doing all right? Pretend like this ain't upside down, all right? Yeah. Good. That's great to hear. I just want to let y'all know that y'all did come in time for our early bird special. And what that means is you get a discounted price off of our combo items such as chicken, steak, and shrimp. But before we get into all that, could I get everybody started with drinks? We do have the Pepsi products. And I can get you some alcoholic beverages from the bar as well. That ain't tough. Y'all not messing with me. Like, y'all not gonna give me a tip. And I'll get the food out real fast, get the drinks out real fast. If you tell me you want your steak medium well, you get it medium well. If you tell me you allergic to bacon, we cooking in the back. I had everything unlocked. Plus, I'm like 6'2". So whenever I stand in front of the grill taking their order, they're like, damn, are you standing on a platform back there? Your head's about to hit the roof. I just chuckle, laugh, and smile. I done heard the joke 1,000 times. I'ma still smile. I'ma let you enjoy your meal. That's just what great customer service is all about. But overall, as a server, I get great tips. The most I probably made was probably like close to 500. But there's nights I walk off with 400, 300. But this would usually happen on Saturdays and Sundays. Those are days where I work doubles. So I'm there from 9 a.m. to probably 11:30 p.m. serving the whole day. On the weekdays though, I probably get closer to 200 something. Those 400s, those are rare. Now after breaking down the tips with the bus boys and the dish pit, I'd say I averaged $20, $50 to $21 an hour. But eventually track season kicked up and I was only working 1 day a week. Then a couple months after that, I had to quit the job completely because I was going to college. Everybody at the job had big expectations for me and they're like, oh yeah, he's gonna be a millionaire. You know, Steve was so smart. He's nice. Yeah, you're gonna get far. Unfortunately, some things happened with my academic scholarship, and that's a whole story for another day. But I was unable to continue school, and I had to drop out after like a semester. But when I came back, I could have easily went back to the restaurant and got my job again. But I didn't want to disappoint everybody. You know, they had all these big expectations for me, and they had this whole going away thing. Just for me to end up right back where I started. I couldn't do that. So in my head, I was like, damn, I gotta find another job. And lo and behold, I put in my application and work at the airport. I was stocking stores, filling up the shelves. And it was a downgrade in pay because I was making like $17 an hour to start. But it was fun. It was the easiest job I ever had, literally. I just go downstairs, stock up some carts, stock up some drinks, tow them back up, and then make sure my stores are good. And I get to chill for like 30-40 minutes until things started running low. But eventually, a couple months in, company that owned the stores I stocked, they opened up a Chick-fil-A in the airport. And by that time, they had more stalkers coming in. So they was like, Steve, would you like to go? So they sent me over to Chick-fil-A. A couple days after they opened, threw me in head first. And I'm just looking over everybody's shoulders, watching everything, absorbing as much knowledge as I could get. And boy, let me tell you, this job was a cheat code. Like in the beginning, it was so easy. You just make sure you get the chicken out on time, and then everybody could just talk and yap and chill. But as time go by, most of our employees was 18 and 19-year-olds, and they was going off to college. A bunch of people quit. A bunch of people got fired for attitude problems, and we got really low on staff really fast. But like I said, I'm about my money, so I'm working dumb overtime. A lot of you not. I'm working 18-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts, 22-hour shifts, 26-hour shifts. Most every day I pulled a 30-hour shift. I'll come in at 3 a.m., help set up the store. We open at 4, so I'm serving up breakfast, bread and the chicken and all that. And then I wait till like 3 p.m., go on an hour lunch. Usually I don't even be trying to go on lunch, but they used to force me because they're like, you gotta eat, gotta eat. But in my head, if I wanted to take a break, I would have stayed at home. And that's how I've been at every single one of my jobs. I rarely took breaks at Chipotle. I never took breaks at Wasabi because then you're missing out on tables. And I rarely took breaks at Chick-fil-A. At Chipotle, I'll eat a whole bowl in the back because you're allowed 1 free bowl a day. But shit, clocking out on break, that ain't happening. Back to the story though. We're understaffed. I'm getting so much overtime. I'll go on break for an hour whenever I have a crazy shift. Come back, work the whole rest of the day, stay the night. And sometimes because of delays, we wouldn't close until like 1 a.m. So they couldn't be mad at me. We had no staff and I was one of the few people willing to work. So they let me slide for months. I was stacking up racks. By this time I already had a car, but it started to give out on me. So I upgraded cars just like that because I was just getting that much motion, you know? I was paying more bills at the house, buying more groceries and stacking up money. And it all came so easy because I was able to get all this overtime. I was never outside. I was never kicking with nobody because they'd be like, hey, you want to come outside, do this and that? Nah, man, I got to work. Wait, knowing damn well next time I'm going to still be at work. But eventually we got some help in. A whole new staff was hired. So they stopped letting me get overtime. And although my efforts went unnoticed by a lot of people for a long time, I didn't really care because I was stacking up my money. I don't live or die by somebody else's opinions. You know, as long as I'm doing right for me and my fam, I'm straight. Eventually, I was given the opportunity to be management. My pay went from 20 something for a little while to 21.50. Once I became management, I was only allowed to work 40 hours a week. It was a terrific job though. Only thing bad about it is everybody would gossip about everybody else. But I'm the type of guy, whatever is said about me, I ain't got the energy correct, folks, bro. If you believe I'm cool or you got something against me, either way, I'm not gonna try to convince you otherwise. Like I said, my life doesn't evolve around the opinions of others. I'm just here doing me. Other than that, it was a great job, though. I miss some of my folks who worked there for sure. The only reason I quit is because I had some life stuff going on. I had to figure it out. I stacked up a bunch of money, waited till the time was right, and I put in my 2 weeks. And I've been jobless ever since. But that was like 3 months ago. You wanna know what my current occupation is? I'm in these videos, so if you enjoy what you see, you like the content, then go ahead and subscribe for me so I can continue. I'm not getting paid off for this yet, but I'm enjoying the process. I'm enjoying the journey. At the time that I'm filming this, we had 435 subscribers. This is my first 6 months of doing this. I'm a realistic person, so my goal for the end of the year was like 500 subs, and we're almost at that in 6 months. So by month 7 or month 8, I'm getting 500 for sure. And eventually things will line up to where I can hopefully stay consistent, keep dropping these videos for y'all, and I can make this my career. Thank y'all for watching. See you on the next one.
I'm about to die.